Welcome, listeners, to this week's episode of Unexplained Legends. I'm Arthur O'Sullivan, and with me, as always, is
Denis Big Toe Len.
And together we are the Unexplained Legends. Denis, do you care to explain what's been going on with your big toe? Why your name is apropos?
Well, we're the Unexplained Legends now, minus one working big toe.
Okay.
I didn't. For anyone that thinks that we have a chat beforehand about my big toe, we didn't. I was saving all this lovely sauce for right now because, Raj, you know what I did? I watched a podcast. I was sitting in a hammock, right? Okay.
Right.
This is all true. I was sitting in a hammock and I was watching a podcast, and it was all about, getting out there, exercising, and how accountability is great for exercising. So I said, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I set up a WhatsApp. I set up a WhatsApp group. I invited two lads into it. I said, look, I heard this podcast. It's going to be really good for accountability. I know you want to do it as well. So let's get going. And then I put in my goals, right? Want to go to the gym 3 times a week. Want to meditate a little bit. And then I picked up a dumbbell and I dropped it on my toe and broke my toe. Immediately, like 2 minutes after setting up the group.
That is... Did you leave the group?
No, but the climb down that I had to do was horrific. Because they all put in their stuff and they were like, this is my session, I'm doing this, blah blah, and then I was like, I'm out for 8 weeks.
I broke my toe. Just broke the toe there.
Broke my toe. I'm going to hospital.
Got the toe up to 1 rep on 5 kg.
That's the other thing as well, is people keep asking me, they're like, I'm like, drop the dumbbell on it, and they're like, oh, what weight was it?
Must have been pretty heavy.
I was like, yeah, big one. It was 5 kg. It was 5 kg.
Oh, 5 bags of sugar. Doesn't sound like it would break a toe.
It hurt so bad that I started laughing. I started laughing when it happened, as if it wasn't happening to me or something. My brain was going all over the place, and then I thought it was going to be fine. And then about an hour later, I was sitting on the couch, and I thought the top of my toe was going to explode. Like I thought everyone was asking me, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Oh, I'm fine," and I was like hearing a countdown in my head of when the top of my toe was going to blow off.
Not good. I felt like this probably wasn't going to be helpful to you to say at the time. Obviously,
I cannot wait for this. I can't. All right, just bear in mind now, right? My leg is up, my toe is completely fucked, and I guess this is going to make me feel real good.
Well, I've just out the other end of something similar.
Okay.
We're basically. We've been going through we haven't had a functioning leg between us for months. But what I was going to say is that the kettlebell stuff. Mm-hmm. That guy Pavel Setsun, I can't remember how to say his second name, but he talks about practicing dropping a kettlebell on your own foot to make sure that you can avoid it.
Well, okay. There's no way you could have avoided this, right?
No, I've no doubt. Yeah.
But what
he says
actually
happy
happened?
Fast feet or happy feet. That's what he says.
I have sad foot right now. What happened was I put it up on like a little desky thing, and then I turned around to walk away, and it rolled off and hit me as I was walking away. It was horrific. But right, for anyone who this does happen to, right, I got some great tips for you. It's not medical advice, or it's go see a GP or whatever. I didn't, but I wanted to get some reassurance, right, because my toe was absolutely mangled, like as in it was smashed to bits. So I went on the NHS site. God bless the NHS. I went on the NHS and I looked it up, and it said, look, don't worry about it unless it's your big toe. Right. Ooh. So I was like, crap, it's my big toe. So I was like, okay, great. So they're like, ring 111, where you can just ring up and they'll kind of tell you where to go, like go to A&E, doctor or whatever. So I ring up
NHS
111.
Direct, is it?
Yeah, ring them up. And I'm like, they're just reading out the NHS website. Right. So they start reading out the NHS website to me, and I'm like, but the NHS website told me to ring you. So I'm like, okay, cool. So they're like, look, you're fine, just stay at home, you're grand. And I'm looking at my toe going like, my toe is not grand. So I'm like, all right, grand. What I'll do is, because I wasn't in the area, I couldn't go to the GP that I have. And even if I was living where I am now, I still couldn't go to the GP because my GP hasn't been switched yet. But anyway, I go to the pharmacy, I go in, I say, I'm in agony, like, go into the guy and say, look, I think I'm after breaking my toe, right? I'm obviously after breaking my toe, there's no thinking about it. And he goes, okay, cool. He goes, let's have a look here. He goes on the computer, looks up the NHS website, and prints it off for me.
Hard to argue with that.
That was the medical help I received.
Hard to argue
and my
with
toe
that,
was still
Dennis.
smashed to bits.
I can't believe you didn't like try A&E just to see like what would their reaction be.
The problem was that I've actually broken it before. I broke it about 12 years back and it didn't set right because I was in America at the time. So anytime I'm in a different location, I seem to break this exact big toe. But I was in America, so I couldn't go to hospital, right? Because I had no like medical insurance or anything. So I think it's set wrong then. Okay. And so then when it broke this time, the angle looked off. But I was like, I don't know if that's what my toe's meant to look like or not. Like I'm fairly sure it already looked that wonky. So I'm actually hoping that it'll set right this time.
It might do. You don't know. You know, I once hurt my foot. Hurt like the what would you like near the baby toe area, like corner of my foot. Hurt that really badly falling down the stairs. And then another day I fell through somebody's glass table at their birthday party and it fixed it.
It fixed it?
Yeah, it fixed it. It's just pain gone.
What about the rest of your body? Like you had a perfectly working pinky.
Oh yeah, it was fine. It was totally fine, yeah.
It's picking shards of glass out of your chest, but you're like, oh, the toe's fixed.
Yeah, it was great. Now, like you said, Dennis, same caveat, I wouldn't recommend that.
No.
Like, I'm not saying that you should just go out and do that tomorrow, but I'm saying it does work.
I also, you were telling me you just suffered a little injury just before we were on the podcast, actually.
Oh, yeah, I got a bit of brain freeze.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. You witnessed me get brain freeze.
And how many Mr. Freeze-Eye did you eat yesterday, right?
Yesterday?
In a row.
Oh, in a row, okay, because they're actually different numbers as well, which I didn't tell you.
Okay.
In a row, yesterday, in my longest sitting yesterday, I ate 15 Mr. Freezes in a row. But then I did eat 4 more in the evening.
In a row?
Yeah, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it in a row, mostly.
What's your biggest Mr. Freeze streak?
The 15 would be close to it, I'd say.
But not quite there.
Yeah, I think... Geez, I'd say I've hardly eaten a whole box in one sitting.
Besides your brain freezing, right, which is obviously a bit of a disadvantage of eating so many Mr. Freezes, have you noticed any other kind of like, repercussions?
Huge. Oh man, my piss tastes unreal.
Yeah, that's great. Has someone told you that, or is that self-reported?
I just get self-report on that one. I just get a sense of it, But incredible. I've incredible resilience to swings in temperature now.
Yeah.
Like my body is honestly mostly ice.
I'd feel you wouldn't do too great in hot weather then, though.
No, I would, because I could like generate my own, ice in my veins. Yeah.
Yeah. I would just be thinking of the example of the common snowman. He wouldn't love a hot summer.
Well, no, but imagine if he had a fleshy exterior. He could use his snow to cool himself down from the inside,
Of course. All right, and I hope that leads into our episode. What are we doing this week, Raj?
Well, it does, Dennis. It leads perfectly into our episode, because this week, Dennis, we're doing an Edinburgh special.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are we doing that?
We're doing an Edinburgh special because I am going up to the Edinburgh Fringe.
You're unbelievable, man.
What?
Anything for a plug, like.
What?
I bet you the ghost was just like, he's just been in Edinburgh once and he's actually based in Manchester, but you're like, Edinburgh special, by the way, this is when my show's on.
It's the Edinburgh special because I'm going up to Edinburgh at, let me Google.
You don't know the date?
No, I don't. Somebody asked me recently. They're like, they actually listen to this podcast, but I won't give the full details. But they asked me like, when are you in Edinburgh and what are the details? And I gave them the vaguest details that I could remember in my head. And after I told them, I was like, oh, class, like, are you thinking of going or something? And they go, no. And then they said, I know an incredibly famous comedian and I'm going to give them the details. And I would have given you better details if I'd known that. But yeah, my show is called Alex and Roger Work It Out. I'm up there with another comedian, Alex Berchulis Fernandez, and it's at Bar 50, which is on Blackfriar Street.
Did you just read out the title of the show as well?
Yeah.
Did you not know that?
People want to look it up.
Okay.
I did know it, and it's there from the 21st of August to the 27th, and it will. You can catch us at 1:30 to 2:30, and it's going to be a riot. It's going to be an absolute riot, laugh riot. So because I'm going up there, and you're staying home to look after everything back here, and because specifically this episode we're recording in advance because it will go out the week that I'm up in Edinburgh.
Jesus Christ.
What?
What is it?
We're doing the Ghost of Greyfriar's Kirkyard.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a
there,
ghost.
Dennis?
I have. Can I remember where it is? Nope. No, I can't.
You must remember it.
Where is it?
It's, well, I guess it's like in the center of Old Town.
Okay, so is it on like the main strip?
Not far off it. We've definitely been there.
Okay, is it down near the chipper at the end of the road?
Which chipper?
It doesn't matter. There's so many of them.
I guess on the back of that, then, Dennis, will we crack on with the lamestream narrative? Edinburgh is one of the most beautiful cities in all of the United Kingdom. Why are you laughing?
Are you trying to get off at Edinburgh or something? What's going on?
What do you mean?
I think Edinburgh is the nicest city in the world. Go on. Sorry.
I do love Edinburgh. I do love it.
I'm not questioning it.
Yeah.
I'm actually reinforcing that you love Edinburgh. I would say you're trying to get off at Edinburgh.
Okay. Well, you know what? If Edinburgh was interested, I wouldn't say no. It's one of those beautiful cities in all of the United Kingdom. Although it's been serving as Scotland's capital since the 15th century, there is evidence of settlement there as long back as 8,500 BC, with Mesolithic campsites having been unearthed in the area. The city itself shows evidence of this long history, with a huge diversity of its beautiful medieval old town and the 18th century new town, giving the feel of two cities nearly built upon one another. Further adding to this beauty, it all sits in the shadow of Arthur's Seat, which hangs over the city, the mountain itself being tied to the ancient Arthurian legend. It is no surprise, then, that Edinburgh is home to some of the most haunted places in all of the UK.
I have to say, right, Edinburgh is up there. For anyone who hasn't been there, that's up there. If there's going to be ghosts, it's going to be in Edinburgh. Like there, Transylvania, a nightclub in like a small town in Ireland, and Edinburgh. They're the most haunted places.
I wasn't tuned in correctly to you there, and I thought you were saying Transylvania was a nightclub in a small town in Ireland.
That would be an excellent name for a very bad nightclub in a small town.
What was the where you're from? There was a really shitty.
There was loads of them. There was there was Midtown that was open for a while.
Yeah.
Chasers, Light. You got
off with someone in Light, didn't you?
At a time, I used an ID that wasn't real to get into Light, and a policeman took it off me, and I got interrogated the next day during lunchtime in school, or not the next day, the next Monday. So like 2 days later, I got interrogated, called in by the like detective into the place. He said, this is one of the best IDs we've ever seen. Like, where did you get it? And I said, well, it wasn't good enough to get me into Light, right? Which the other guy thought was pretty funny. And the other guy was like in the drug squad or something. And then this kept going on. And then he asked me, he was like, I want you to be a mole. Like, he was basically saying, I want you to be a mole.
Jesus.
And I was just like, what the hell? I have economics, man. Leave me alone. And then it went nowhere. It was really strange. And then he said, look, I'm going to, if you see anything now, I want you to tell me, you're going to basically be an informant. I was like, no, I'm not. But thankfully, he never rang me ever again.
Lexmark's finest.
It was actually Lexmark 7200.
I knew a lad who used to. Should I say this?
I just said I got dragged into a police station. Come on.
Yeah, but you're on quote unquote the right side of the law there. Even though me and the law, we don't always see eye to eye. But I knew a lad who during his job during the summer, or well, I guess just at the tail end of the summer, is for a few weeks he would work in the. I'm sure you had to do it. Is in UCC in Cork in the university that you get your student ID, and that would get you into most of the pubs in Cork City.
Yeah,
because people would just go, oh yeah. So he worked there from his mom worked in the office there, so he'd get this job from when he was about 16 onwards. And he'd just make a bomb printing off, bringing in lads printing off fake IDs of their actual face, you see.
He'd make a fortune off of that.
Oh, honestly, he used to only charge people a tenner or something. He could have charged way more.
I'd say he could go to proper jail for that.
Oh, is that properly illegal? Oh, I made that up.
So, yeah.
That was just it's just a
But anyway, there's a ghost in Edinburgh.
Yeah. There is, if I thought of it actually, there is an actual venue in Edinburgh that is haunted.
You would have booked that one.
I would have booked it, and I would have done. I would have done this episode on it, but
you should have do a split show with the ghost.
yeah. We've been. There's two venues that are haunted, and one of them is the Banshee Labyrinth, which I think we've been in. That one's haunted. Yeah, and I saw the best show of my life there. Well, it was Richard Gadd, Monkey See, Monkey Do, I think the name of the show was. I was drunk at the time though, so who knows? But no, it really was brilliant.
You insulted everyone else and complimented him, and then insulted him as well. So
no. He
really done yourself in.
No, he was fantastic. But the other venue is down on Cowgate. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a famous story of I think Janie Godliman, a comedian, saying that when she was standing backstage behind a curtain, she felt a hand on her arm, or she felt like a hand on her shoulder, and then it pushed her forward, and it's there's nothing back there. Yeah, it was a ghost.
Definitely. Was that place called Spooky Mansion? Is it?
It was. It was called Spooky Mansion, and it was a really, really bad knockoff Eddie Murphy in it. And when
you go in there, you have to leave Yoshi outside. And you jump in.
Yeah.
If you turn away from the ghost, they follow you.
You have SNES on the brain.
Yeah, I know. I'm very snazzy at the moment. I've got SNES on the old Xbox at the moment.
Yeah, you're going a bit crazy.
Do you know what was actually very disappointing, right? And then we'll get back to the podcast. Was in Super Mario World, right? For all the people out there who've ever played it, there's you press whatever the version is of select, and it moves you around the map, and you can see it. If you use that. You can just look at all the different worlds and whatever. But I always had it in my head up until honestly 3 days ago that the map was huge. The map is tiny. It's absolutely tiny. It's like an A4 page, not even.
Do you think this is an example of just I thought this was so big when I was a kid?
No.
No.
I get that. I do get that. But no, this was more kind of I had never actually moved around, and so I just assumed that it was bigger.
Do you think there's something going on? Do you think it's a conspiracy? Do you think they've changed it?
I imagine it being much bigger. Bowser's castle is still fucking huge though. Anyway, back to castles and haunted stuff.
That's still big. Despite there being numerous sites of supposed spiritual activity, one of the most famous of these is without a doubt Greyfriar's Kirkyard, located in the heart of Old Town. Having been officially active as a burial site since the 16th century, there are rumours that it was in fact built over an existing burial site, which was filled during the Black Death, thus requiring a new graveyard to be built on top of it. I know you don't remember being there, but it does give the impression of being built like Edinburgh itself is like a real hodgepodgey city.
I think the geographical name is topsy-turvy.
Yes, it is a very topsy-turvy. If you've ever found anything interesting or evocative in Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling has actually just stolen it whole cloth from Edinburgh or York, and in both cases, she's shit anyway. But you should just go to Edinburgh. It's much better than Harry Potter. But what I was going to say is that Greyfriars Kirkyard, if you go there, which it's so funny because we have been there, but you don't remember it. You don't have a
which is
fucking
good,
clue.
but it's good for the episode. Don't you get it's good for the episode?
Is it? Is it good for the episode when I'm telling people that you'll never forget how spooky it is, and you're there. Yeah.
But I am sure that at the time I was probably having some sort of comedic nervous breakdown. So
yeah,
I wasn't really taking in the spookiness.
No, that's the thing. How funny is it that like once after a competition gig that hadn't like gone exactly the way one of us had one on keeping this vague, so that
no, I don't. It's me, is it?
Well, yeah. It is you.
Yeah, no, I don't mind telling that story. I thought I did extremely well, right? I thought I did extremely well, and I didn't get through.
Yeah. But how funny is it though that the way we invented was to walk down to the Scottish Parliament and like sit on the on the walls of that.
But I did get a call a couple of days later saying that they wanted me through. So
they did. What did they say? Is allegations about the other person? No,
the other person died.
Yeah, the other person was accused of being shit. No, that's not true.
That's your words.
That's not true. So right, back to Greyfriars Kirkyard. As if portent of the stories, there is even an inscription within the graveyard which reads "Non omnis moriar," or "Not all of me will die." Thinking of getting that tattooed on me.
Yeah.
Where should I get it tattooed? Above the arse?
It's always on the arse. It's always on the arse. The plans that you have for your arse, man. I'm surprised.
I never get around to it. I'm
surprised there's any space left on that blueprint.
Will I tell them what I sent you today is my idea for my poster?
Considering that you sent me like 100 things. Oh yes. Definitely tell them that. Yeah,
then I came up that this is what I want to do for my Edinburgh show next. I'm probably not going to go next year, but the year after, is I want the poster to just be me having sex with myself from behind, and the title of the poster is "Fuck Me, I'm Good."
So just want to say goodbye to half our listenership. But for those of you who've stuck around up until this point, for us to mention a ghost twice, and our arse is more time than ghosts. You're the real heroes. I'll tell you something about parks around where I live. Actually, I think we have a lot to give thanks to in London for graveyards, because there's a startling amount of them have been turned into parks.
That's true.
And the only reason that buildings haven't been built on top of them is because obviously they didn't want to build on top of the graveyards. Otherwise, those corporations would have come in.
Very good point.
They made us parks, so thanks to people.
But how cool is that phrase? Not all of me will die. Like that's going to get you spooked out, right?
That is.
So indeed, many of the visitors have reported something that suggests there's more to this inscription than just a cool phrase. Because they have suggested what are you
got a cool phrase?
Yeah.
Do you think
so it's not a cool phrase now. No,
I think it's a cool phrase. I just don't think that the majority of people are going past it.
Can I cancel that tattoo, please? Yeah, just gonna have nothing above the arse now.
You want the words nothing?
No, you've misunderstood.
We've booked you in for nothing.
There's a place down the road from me that it's a barber's and a tattoo parlour.
Oh yeah? That seems peculiarly like it would match up.
Well, yeah, but
hygienic wise, probably not great though.
They have a sign that says, imagine getting hair in your tattoo. They have a sign that says, call ahead to get to book in with the cut father. Like kind of playing off of like the Godfather.
Yeah.
But it actually just sounds like maybe he needs a bit of help.
But you also have to wear no clothes on the seat.
Yeah. So anyway, visitor.
Wait. I want to ask you one thing, right? Because I really want to find this out, but don't play it for jokes. I actually want to find out what your answer is.
Yeah.
What tattoo would you get if you had to get a tattoo?
Oh, if I get, I would. I think if I had to get a tattoo, I would say I would get a non-ominous Mario.
On your arse?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. Cross
Maybe
the back?
above the dick.
Oh, don't play it for jokes. I'll get it on the dick.
I'm not. No. If I had to get a tattoo, I'd probably get something like I'd maybe get something in
Live, laugh, love.
In Braille. No, I'd get live, laugh, love in I didn't mean what did I mean? In Ohm.
Okay, yeah, that's quite cool.
Yeah, not live, laugh, love. I'd get something else.
If you got that in Ohm, that would actually be pretty funny.
That would be, well, what does that say? Oh, live, laugh, love. The how funny would it be if they decipher the inscriptions on like the outside of a UFO, and that's what it says. That's where we got it from. But anyway, Dennis, to get back to the ghosts, because we're 25 minutes in and we haven't mentioned a single ghost. It's
not like this.
No. So, Dennis, it's the Edinburgh Special. You know, that's why it's so kooky. So, indeed, many visitors have reported being shoved over or knocked down with force while visiting Greyfriar's Kirkyard. And indeed, many have felt a menacing presence when walking past one mausoleum in particular. The mausoleum in question, belonging to one George Mackenzie, or Bloody Mackenzie, as he was also known. He served as a barrister during the reign of Charles II and enacted his laws against the Scottish Covenanters. After the Battle of Bothwell Bridge, he supposedly sent hundreds of Presbyterians to their death, many of which lay to rest within the kirkyard itself. It's no surprise, then, that he may well indeed find it hard to rest among so many souls for whom he had signed their death warrant.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, this lad definitely had his plot there, like, right?
What do you mean?
Like,
that is what the grave is. Like that grave is his grave.
Yeah, he knew where he was getting buried. Like, I mean, yeah, I to be honest, I think it's a bit rich from him, to be honest, if he did come back as a ghost, because he was so unsettled, because he chose to be like buried. Like, I mean, if he should have been buried, you know, under a tree somewhere, away from all that stuff.
Well, I think, no, I disagree with you, because I think that he probably thought what he was doing was totally legitimate, above board, killing all these people.
Okay.
And then he never expected anything to happen when he was put to rest here. You know?
Yeah. So he thought like this will be fine, but then when he died, he realized that he's got a lot of roommates that he actually accidentally killed in a previous life.
Yeah. So they're not letting him go to the next world.
But by doing that, then do they have to stay in this world as well?
Well, they're Presbyterians, so they're not getting into heaven. You know.
That's true.
No,
it's true. Stick by it.
Yeah, I'll stick by that. No. I think I don't think so. I think they could just force his spirit out, you know?
Maybe they're just standing at the door.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? That's it. They're all on the other side and they're taking turns to put their foot in front of the door. Actually, do you know the door to heaven? Do you think it opens out or do you think it pushes in?
No, sorry to be this guy, but I think it's a gate.
Yeah, it was the same thing, you know.
Pushes out. Pushes...
Like, does it pull out?
Pulls out.
It pulls out, does it?
Because you don't want people at the gates of heaven pushing in, and then it would break easier that way. So you want to stop people from getting in.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. So it pulls outwards, and I guess like let's say I don't know, let's say God's going out for the day in his G-Wagon or whatever. Like he wants to open out, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's who's the lad at the gate, Paul?
No, it's St. Peter, isn't it?
It's Peter, is it? Peter there,
hang on.
Listen, either of them.
Listen, who's at the gates of heaven? That's what we'll say.
Who's
knocking at my door?
Paul Peter, it's Saint. You'll meet Saint Peter. It's Peter.
It's Peter. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just think for an apostle, or it was that the same guy? Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel that he did such a good job to then be landed with basically like, you know, gate
Bouncer.
attendant. Yeah. I would be pretty pissed off.
Do you think that that's what he's like? They're coming in and he goes, lads, come on now, how much have you had? How many sins have you had now, lads?
If they've got the wrong shoes on and stuff, they're not getting it.
Yeah, come on now, you've been sinning all day. And they're like, no, we haven't. Honestly, it's just one or two.
I'm gonna kill you.
Fucking get out of here. He fucking kicks them out. He must get lonely there as well.
Well, I mean, if he's like any of the bouncers around the place, he's probably like getting off with people who are...
What, getting off?
Yeah.
Bouncers don't get off with people, do they?
I think they do, Rog. I think they do.
What?
I think they beat people up and then get off with what's left.
You've made it sound like they get off with what's left of the person they've beaten up.
Maybe they do.
There we go. Yeah, just whatever kind of bloody face is left. Have you ever seen somebody beaten up by a bouncer?
A friend of mine got mangled by a bouncer.
Nice.
I have a story as well that's probably fake, but at the time it was really real, and I knew the guy. So okay. I don't know, but there was a nightclub in Cork, and I think it was like Gorby's or something at the time. Right?
Oh,
yeah. It could have actually predated Gorby's, but it was one of those places. And this guy went up. I know his name, but I can't say his name right. But George, right? This is his name. George went up, and he was huge, but he used to get a lot of shit off bouncers, so he wouldn't get in places because he was such a big guy. But he was a quiet guy, but he was an unbelievable like rugby player and stuff. But and an actual nice guy. But he got refused, and the bouncers gave him tons of shit. And then what he did was, because he was a little drunk, he stayed there for the whole night, basically just berating them for the whole night, berating them. And then at the end of it, when it was closed, they said like, "Oh look, come on in here!" Like, and his friends were there trying to tear him away, like they're going to absolutely hammer you. And like 3 bouncers went in with him, and bouncers started getting just like you could hear bouncers screaming inside the room.
Jesus
Christ!
He
absolutely annihilated them. Or so the story goes. And if you saw the guy, he was a giant human being. Like a giant.
To bring this back to Edinburgh, the first time I was in Edinburgh to do stand-up comedy, I befriended a bouncer outside of a venue.
Did you have to do anything to get into the club?
No, because so my show was in that room. And he would just, he'd be out, Hugh was his name, he'd be outside every day while I was flying for the show. So I'd wait for him. One day I brought him, is it an Orangina?
Yeah, do you like them?
Yeah, because he'd mentioned that he hadn't had one in ages, so I brought him one of them. Just a good rapport going on. And I asked him, it must be a pain in the ass, like seeing all of these tourists coming here and just being, like just absolutely shit-faced, almost falling in. And he said, no, it's much better than my old job. And I said, oh, where was your old job? And it's always in Glasgow. And I said, oh, what makes this so much better? And he said, oh, I don't have to wear a stab vest. And I thought, do you know what? That's actually a big perk, probably. That's it's the little stuff. It's the little stuff like that you appreciate.
Not putting your stab vest on in the morning.
Yeah. So, speaking of stab vests, one particularly gruesome tale around Bloody Mackenzie's tomb involved a homeless man who supposedly found his way inside during a terrible storm, first entering only to get away from the awful weather, before deciding in desperation to attempt to see if he could indeed rob something from the grave while he happened to be there. Upon opening the casket where George Mackenzie lay, a sinkhole opened beneath the homeless man's feet, and he was sucked down below to a plague pit upon which the Kirkyard had been built.
Jesus, did they get him out?
Inconclusive.
Was there like newspaper reports about this or whatever? Did you source the newspaper reports?
It was a lot of talk about it.
Yeah. Of a homeless man falling into a plague pit in a tomb. That probably would have been news. Second, third page, maybe even front page.
It was very big news, yeah.
Yeah.
But they could never work out. They could never work out if they got him out or not.
I think it's very handy as well in these, not to talk ill of homeless people, but, it's very easy to, like, not be able to identify them, but just have them as a convenient witness to things.
Well, let me tell you this. In my notes, I accidentally wrote it as headless. That would be front page news.
Yeah, that would have been. No wonder he fell in the hole.
Headless man breaks in.
Can you open up a tomb?
Yeah, why not?
Can you open up the, like, lift off the thing? Like,
I think with the kind of technology we're talking about, I'd say you'd slide it off.
Oh, slide it off, yeah. Because, okay, so is it in, like, the center of the tomb?
I'd say so, yeah.
I'd say so. And he'd push that off then.
Yeah.
So, and then a sinkhole appeared and swallowed him down. But the tomb stayed intact.
Yes.
That's interesting.
It was only him.
It was only him. And then it closed back up again. Like the tennis court, the Gigantor comes out of.
Yeah. That's a good pull.
Yeah, it is. There's loads from where I'm from. There's loads of sinkholes in there, and
the burn you're from, isn't it?
I'm from the burn, raised in between the cracks and the burn.
They used to call you King of the Groiks.
Yeah, Clinton Groiks. That was my first album. But there's loads of things.
I used to know a man called Clinton Groiks.
we actually gave nicknames to two lads in our geography classes, Clinton Groik, and they went insane. But there was loads of sinkholes, and things did happen where like tractors would go into them. An old woman fell into one. That is true. She did. She was a real person.
I'm picturing old woman gets sucked in, tractor immediately on top of her.
do you know what happened to an old woman down the town once? Was a tractor was coming along with a load of hay bales in it. And it fell on top of her, right? But no hay bale actually fell on her, and it basically built like a castle of hay bales around her, and she was stuck in the inside of it.
That's not true.
That is true. Her name is Dolly. Like, I know the woman. Like, as in she used to be a housekeeper that lived across the.
And this same woman fell down a sinkhole. She's had an awful life.
I can't say if it's the same person or whatever, but if I was her, I wouldn't go out anymore.
That's fucking desperate. She was. I heard that she was making fake IDs.
That's probably what they were trying to capture her.
Yeah. She's a lot going on. That's crazy. I didn't know that there were sinkholes around your way.
Yeah, well, the story goes, and we should maybe do something on it, but then it'll completely give away where I'm from, even though I mentioned half the nightclubs that were there anyway. But the castle in the town, right? Mm-hmm. That has a lot of like underground passages in it, right. And sometimes the ground would give way and they'd fall into one of these tunnels around the castle, because they were building a housing estate, a huge, gigantic, like Celtic tiger boom fucking housing estate, and they kept running into that where they would like basically sinkholes all over the place. I actually, to be honest, I don't know why they built houses there, but I think.
Did you ever? I love the way that you're simultaneously devaluing probably like half the property in that area. But do you ever get the? Do you reckon anyone's ever seen a sinkhole open up, and then like they've quickly opened their trousers to try to just, you know.
Is that where your mind goes when you see a hole in the ground?
What?
It's like if you see a manhole open and they're working on it, you're like, I'm going to shit in that.
No. This guy's trying to get sucked off with a sinkhole.
Sorry, I misunderstood you, Raj. I didn't go high enough.
No.
Yeah, so like, is there a sucking motion involved in it?
I've always assumed it was like the earth going.
I guess it is. Then I'm sure it'd be. I mean, you'd be a lucky man, wouldn't you? Go for a walk.
Mommy Earth.
Just you prowling around fields, just waiting for it to happen. which you're dig out already.
Yeah, come on now. Come on, lads.
Yeah, ghosts in Edinburgh anyway. How are they doing?
Right. So anyway, however, not all the ghostly inhabitants of Greyfriar's Kirkyard are quite so gruesome as Bloody Mackenzie. What are you laughing at?
They should be called suckholes.
Oh man, you won't believe it. Sorry I'm late. Got caught by one of those suckholes.
And you get high-fived.
Oh, it's the Edinburgh special. So, not all the ghostly inhabitants are quite so gruesome as Bloody Mackenzie, as the Kirkyard is also famous for one Greyfriar's Bobby. Do you know where this is now, Dennis?
No?
Greyfriar's Bobby, a lovely little Scotty dog who, upon his owner's passing, went to visit his grave every single day for the rest of his life.
Is this the dog that has its like nose rubbed off?
Yeah.
Ah.
That's the guy. So he was in the same. He used to go to the same graveyard, dutifully waiting for the day that he would be by his owner's side. So he's waiting there until his own passing. And indeed, when Bobby passed away, he was laid to rest in an unconsecrated patch within the kirkyard near his owner. However, some claim that Bobby is not always resting, as there are many who have claimed to hear strange disembodied barks throughout the graveyard at night, and even some who suggest that on certain nights you can still see the spirit of Bobby sitting next to his owner's grave. The true nature of the strange happenings within Greyfriar's Kirkyard are to this day unexplained.
And so they will remain. So what's the story with animals then that are ghosts? Like, what do you feel is the scariest animal ghost?
Wolf? No.
Wolf
Squid.
is pretty good. Squid ghost. That would be scary.
Yeah.
I think a horse is quite scary.
A horse ghost? Yeah. Well, you have, of course, the titular nightmare.
I don't know what that is. What's a nightmare?
That's where the phrase nightmare comes from.
Really?
It's the idea of like this, you're having a mare at night. No, it comes from the idea of there being like this. I think this like horse spirit that would be riding to your dreams.
I didn't know that.
Now, do you know what? The more I talked through that sentence, the more I thought it was utter bollocks.
You should have gone with it. Just I'd love if we get someone to go. Well, I mean, it'd be troubling enough. Maybe just the tangents. If people just went through and fact checked all our tangents on the podcast, that'd be an amazing read through.
That would be a terrible. One, I think that there's a chance that bizarrely it would create a work that itself is longer than our entire podcast history somehow.
True.
But also, I would not appreciate that. It's like I once had a lecturer who told me that if you're an academic, your biggest nightmare is somebody looking through your citations.
It should be.
Yeah, which I thought simultaneously I like understood, but also thought, do you know what? That doesn't show you in the best light. It really suggests he's just making shit up every other day.
He's basically threatening you not to do it.
Yeah.
If you don't look at mine, I won't look at yours.
So I sent you an image there, Dennis. I don't know if you picked it up.
Yeah, I have. I just picked it up there. Now, the 400-year-old church that inspired legends, Greyfriars Kirk.
Yeah. So that, I think, is Bloody Mackenzie's mausoleum. I think that's what you're looking at in that image. But cool. You can see Greyfriars Kirkyard. Like, it is just... I'm going to send you another image now. It just looks like... it's like... What would you say? It's just... You couldn't make a better ghosty place.
No, it's so ghosty. It's so incredibly ghosty. And I think as well they're purposely like not weeding it a little bit as well. Like, taking the weeds off the walls and stuff. It's very spooky.
What do you think so?
I'd say so, yeah. I mean, there'd be no point in cleaning it up completely because it wouldn't look as scary then.
Oh, shit! I don't think what I sent you is his tomb at all.
What is it? Wait, that's a Toys R Us.
No, but that's a fucking giraffe. What I've just sent you now, I think that is actually his tomb, and that is 1 billion times scarier.
1 billion? Okay. I'm just having a look through now because it's a video. What number?
Well, there's no need to... Oh, shit. Sorry, I sent you the video.
You sent me a 23-minute long video.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. I just meant to... let's see. Can I do this? I just meant to send you the image. I'll just send you the image now. Sorry. This is Edinburgh Special. That's why this one's a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, are you sure that's not... That is Patrick Miller, Esquire of Dalswinton. Anyway, yes. I mean,
no, I think I was right about the first one. That other one just happens to be scary. Disregard. Disregard.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly scary graveyard. We were in a graveyard at night before, remember?
Oh, we were out in Ballincollig.
That was pretty scary, actually, to be honest.
That was scary.
Have we brought that up on the podcast before?
I think we might have once. Me and my friends once set off fireworks in that graveyard.
That's a bit disrespectful.
Well, yeah, it is. To be fair, sorry, actually, it wasn't me, and it wasn't my friends. It was people I knew, right? And it was people I knew who set off one dummy firework there.
Yeah.
So that then they could go set off the rest of them in the forest. So that we knew the police would be over, the old guards, the shades would be the other side of the place that I almost just said the name of.
You did?
I didn't.
You've done yourself in for a few crimes. Fireworks in graveyards. Have you ever gone drinking in a graveyard?
No, I can't say I have. That would be disgraceful.
But do people do that? I always hear that in Irish culture about like teenagers drinking in graveyards, but I would just drink on a wall or something.
I think a more common thing would be, do you know, like finding a dilapidated house to go drinking?
That'd be too scary for me, you see.
Really?
I'd also be afraid of like it from a health and safety issue. I was more of kind of going into a forest, more a forest man.
I know somebody who conceived a child in a dilapidated house.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was this? Where you're around, where you're from?
Yeah. Not where I went to secondary school.
How do you know it was conceived there?
Everyone knew.
They pinpointed it to that event, like.
Oh yeah, as one person said when they found out about it, they go, "Oh geez," like obviously people were saying, "Gee, not exactly where you'd want to conceive a child," and somebody else said, "Oh, I heard it was in the back of a van, so it's actually an upgrade."
Wait, you have gone away from me, unfortunately.
Oh really? Oh, I went away from you at the worst time. Can you hear me again?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. No,
Did
I
you
was
hear
just
the band thing?
I think you were just something about a band. I didn't get the band.
So somebody else had said when we were all like, "Geez, that's desperate," like not the best place to be conceived, and somebody else said, "Oh, I heard it was in the back of a van, so it's actually a bit of a step up."
We built a hut down near us. We were probably about 15, 16. We built a hut, and we were really good at like building stuff. Like we were actually quite talented at it. And so we built this cool hut. I can't remember what it was called. Like it was probably just called the fort or the hut or something. I can't remember what it was called. But it got taken over by older teenagers who started using it as a sex house.
And they started calling it the slut hut.
The slut, yeah, they did. It's okay to that.
The sex house is very funny.
Raj, has that done it for this week?
Well, pretty much. I was going to ask you before we go. What's your final verdict?
Definitely a ghost.
Yeah, there we go. Good. Double ghost? Dog ghost as well?
Yeah, dog ghost. If anyone's up in Edinburgh, that is actually quite a cute thing to go visit, is the little dog.
Greyfriar's Kirkyard. And Greyfriar's Bobby outside. Yep. Very true. And something else cute and if you're up to go visit in Edinburgh.
I was just going to do it for you. I was just going to... But you're there.
Go on, retake it.
Go on. Give us the title, the time, and the venue without looking at your computer.
It's called Alex and Roger Work It Out. It's on at Bar 50 at 1:30 every day until 2:30.
Yeah.
And it's from the 21st of August to the 27th of August. And you can buy tickets online, actually, if you want. Or you can
Where could I buy a ticket?
You can buy a ticket by Googling Alex and Roger Work It Out tickets.
Nice. Okay. Well, they should go do that. I'm sure there are surely a couple of listeners up there. All right. That's done it for this week's Edinburgh special episode about a ghost. I'm Denis Len. You can find me at Spooky Denis Len 3D on Instagram and other places. Over there is
Roger O'Sullivan. You can find me on Instagram at Roger O'Comedy, or you can find me at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
You can indeed. I think that about does it from me. Please review everything. Thanks very much. Give us loads of stars and go see Roger up in Edinburgh.
Yeah, on the back of that. Love you. Bye.